Good evening, I'm Sonia Kaleselvam and this is KiniNews. Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim has responded to critics of his comments on Najib's apology on the 1MDB scandal.
Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim has rebuked those who criticized him for welcoming former Premier Najib Abdul Razak's apology over the 1MDB scandal. Anwar said his actions were about showing good leadership, particularly when the other party approached with goodwill.
Saya Perdana Menteri. Saya bapa Perdana Negara. Orang cakap macam tu saya nak buat apa? Saya kata kita terima baiklah. Oi, marah. Apa benda ni? Orang kata minta maaf. Oi, aku tak terima. Hau kamu, ni apa perangai ni? Manusia apa ni? Soal mahkamah lah. Soal keputusan lembaga pengampunan yang ada Taman Agong lah.
He said as someone entrusted by the rakyat, he must act responsibly. So, when someone approaches with goodwill, he must respond accordingly. Anwar also stressed that when it comes to governance, he respects the separation of power. On October 24th, Najib, in a statement read out by his son Nizar, apologized for the 1MDB debacle, but maintained his innocence. The following day, Anwar said he welcomed Najib's apology, but many, including allies and activists, criticized his response.
Still on the topic, Latheefa Koya has hit out at Anwar over his response. She said there was good reason that people were upset over his comments.
Lawyer Latheefa Koya has hit out at Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim's response to critics over his comments on former Premier Najib Abdul Razak's apology on the 1MDB issue. In a post on X, she pointed out that the Prime Minister is not the father of the nation. She said this is a feudal concept that is not in the Constitution and is against the spirit of reform. Secondly, she said there are good reasons why social media exploded in anger when Anwar accepted Najib's apology. She said right-thinking Malaysians think that the next thing will be Najib's release from prison, whether by house arrest or otherwise. Latheefa claimed that going by the government's track record, it is not a baseless fear. She highlighted Deputy Prime Minister Ahmad Zahid Hamidi's case and the reduction of Najib's sentence as examples. She said Anwar must address this concern instead of labeling those who ask questions as nitwits. Latheefa also asked if the Prime Minister is prepared to publicly state that the government will oppose through all legal means at its disposal the early release of Najib from Kajang prison. She said this is taking into account that the 1MDB case is the most scandalous theft of public money since Merdeka. Earlier today, Anwar had rebuked those who criticized him for welcoming Najib's apology over the 1MDB scandal. Anwar said his actions were about showing good leadership, particularly when the other party approached with goodwill.
In conjunction with Malaysia Kini turning 25 from now to 30 November, you can subscribe or renew your Malaysia Kini package with 25% off. Click the link in the description below or scan the QR code on your screen to enjoy this exclusive offer. Meanwhile, Anthony Locke said Najib's apology does not change the fact that a crime had occurred. He also stressed that the house arrest law the government is working on had nothing to do with Najib.
Transport Minister Anthony Locke has brushed aside Najib Abdul Razak's apology over the 1MDB scandal. Speaking to the media today, Locke said that Najib's apology does not change the fact that a crime had occurred. Locke was quoted by Free Malaysia Today as saying that it's not a question of accepting any apology. With or without the apology, a crime is a crime. He said Najib has been convicted and the conviction, of course, has been upheld by the court. He added that the fact remains that Najib has been found guilty, so to him the apology does not mean anything. Locke also appeared to dismiss the possibility that the former premier would be eligible for house arrest once a law on that form of incarceration is enacted. He stressed that the house arrest law the government is working on had nothing to do with Najib. He added that those convicted of serious crimes would not be eligible. According to Locke, there is a certain threshold so that a certain crime cannot be put under house arrest. Locke added that as far as Najib is concerned, he is still facing multiple charges. The court convicted Najib of corruption in the SRC international case, which is related to but not the same as the 1MDB scandal, which is still on trial. Najib is serving jail time for the SRC conviction, but is fighting to be placed under house arrest.
Police will be summoning Perak Chief Razman Zakaria for questioning. This is believed to be in connection with the recent rally. Earlier, police said they were investigating the rally organized by the opposition as the authorities had not been notified about it.
Police are investigating the rally organized by the opposition and the coalition of Teluk Intan NGOs for allegedly not notifying the authorities before holding the demonstration at Dataran Menara Condong last night. Perak Police Chief Azizi Mat Aris said the case is being investigated under Section 9(1) of the Peaceful Assembly Act 2012. In a statement, he said the parties involved will be summoned to provide statements to complete the investigation paper. He added that about 400 people gathered at Dataran Menara Condong in conjunction with the Fly the Jalo Gemilang rally. He said the gathering was also attended by the State Pass Chief Razman Zakaria. Yesterday, the media reported the rally was organized in response to the waving of the Chinese flag during the International Guangdong Culture Festival, which took place at the same location on Thursday. Razman was also reported to have made racially charged remarks at the rally.
The China flag waving issue was in the headlines today, with the tourism minister saying that an overreaction to it could deter tourists.
Tourism, Arts and Culture Minister Tiong King Seng said excessive reactions to the China flag waving issue could harm Malaysia's tourism sector. In a post on Facebook, he said it could create the perception that the country does not welcome foreign visitors and deter tourists from coming. He noted that previous cultural events in Malaysia have featured foreign flags without significant criticism and questioned why critics were acting with double standards in this case. He added that similar events in neighboring countries do not face such controversies and advocated for a more harmonious approach in Malaysia. Tiong also supported Perak Menteri Besar Sarani Muhammad's view that the issue should not be overstated, emphasizing that displaying foreign flags is common in various cultural contexts. He said if the flag bearer is not a Malaysian, it should not be a problem. Tiong urged all parties to move beyond the controversy and focus on promoting harmony, warning that continued agitation could deter tourists and impact the country's economic recovery in tourism. He said it should be resolved amicably rather than prolonging a conflict that could hinder our growth. Previously, China nationals waving their country's flag at the Guangdong cultural event in Teluk Intan, Perak, caused a backlash with critics claiming that the country's sovereignty was under threat.
5 months have passed since Oninyong was assaulted. In an interview with Malaysia Kini today, he said he was disappointed but still wait for justice.
5 months have passed since deaf e-hailing driver Oninyong was assaulted and he is still waiting for justice. In an interview with Malaysia Kini, Ong expressed his disappointment but said he would not give up. He told Malaysia Kini through a sign language interpreter that he would wait for justice for as long as it takes.
Yes. But I want to continue this fight. If I have to wait until I get an answer or outcome, or until they arrest the assaulter, I'm willing to wait, as long as it takes.
Responding to a question, Ong, 48, said he believes that the authorities could be dragging their feet because there is a VVIP involved and the assailant is a police officer. On May 28th, Ong was beaten outside the St. Regis Hotel in Kuala Lumpur as the e-hailing driver was seated in his vehicle waiting for passengers by an officer who was part of the security detail for Johor region, Tunku Ismail Sultan Ibrahim. On May 31st, Tunku Ismail, who was informed of the incident a day after, said he had immediately urged the police to conduct a thorough investigation. Ong, who lost his only child a month before the incident, shared that his wife, who is also deaf, told him not to give in as well.
I agree with my wife and she agrees with me as well. We have to stay patient and let the nature take its course.
Previously, various quarters, including former Law Minister Zaid Ibrahim and Deputy Law Minister Muhammad Hanifah Maidin, have pointed out that the case is clear-cut and there is no reason the suspect should not be charged. The delay has led to speculations of interference, prompting Lawyers for Liberty, which is representing Ong, to call for the formation of a Royal Commission of Inquiry. During the interview, Ong also thanked the public for their support in inking an online petition which demanded justice for him and protection for the deaf community.
I felt the support. I'm very touched. I'm very grateful. And it is my ultimate hope that this case will eventually come to a close that I will get a fair justice about this case.
Dewan Rakyat Speaker Johari Abdul has clarified that any MPs who were ordered to leave the Dewan Rakyat would not be allowed in the chambers.
Dewan Rakyat Speaker Johari Abdul has defended his decision barring suspended Machang MP Wan Ahmad Faisal Wan Ahmad Kamal from sitting in the public gallery. Johari said this in response to a motion from Kota Baru MP Taqiyuddin Hassan at the end of question time today.
Sementara saya menjadi yang dipertua hari ini, mulai 15 Oktober 2024, mana-mana ahli yang diarahkan keluar ataupun diperintahkan mengikut peraturan mesyuarat ini, maksud keluar itu ialah keluar daripada chamber ini. Dia boleh ikuti dari luar tetapi tidak boleh masuk dalam chamber kerana ini akan menimbulkan banyak masalah.
Earlier, Taqiyuddin stood up to question Johari's response to Wan Faisal in a letter dated October 15th, in which he underscored his decision with regards to the former Bersatu Youth Chief's 6-month suspension effective July 18th. Taqiyuddin said he first raised the question before Deputy Speaker Ramli Muhammad Noor on October 21st, but was instructed to wait for Johari's return this week.
That is all from me today. For more stories, you can go to Kinitv.com. You can also follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube and Facebook for the latest news updates. I'm Sonia Kaliselvam. Thanks for watching.